Hi everyone and welcome here to my channel. For today's video I'm going to be making this top here that I'm wearing. It's a little short here and then it's a little longer on the front. This top's completely made on the mandala ombre and I absolutely love this mandala ombre color. But because mandala ombre doesn't really exist in Brazil, we can't really buy these colors here. What I did the other day was I had some tops made on my knitting machine, and I use for this one the cotton cakes, and they have stripes like this. They're not like mandala ombre that's mixed more like the mix is more soft. It doesn't make the strong stripes that the cakes have. So what I did was, with another top that I had and I'm gonna open as well, I completely dyed it. And what it does is it dyes the yarn without having to heat it or just to inside a bucket with a lot of water and just boil the water and everything. I was a bit worried to dye the yarn that's acrylic in boiling water, so that's why I chose this option. And what I think was really nice about it, look at the result, guys. Because I dyed on a ready-made cotton little piece, and this just a sample that I did to show you guys. When I converted to crochet, look what I got. It's a very similar effect to the mandala ombre. As you can see here, even comparing the yarn, look at it. So I'm really, let me see if I can see it. But I really like the result and how it came out, even though, and I already washed this a few times, the color won't wash off. I sprayed only on the front and not on the back, so the back still the same color. And that's why I got this effect here, that I think it's very similar to this top here. So I'm going to be using all sprayed yarn for this top here. And I'm still gonna spray this one. And so the way I did it, and I have here a panel on my Adi King, I made a panel that I'm going to cast off now, and then I'm going to do the same thing I did in this little piece here, so I can crochet after. So I'm going to be dyeing this little bit that I made on my Adi knitting machine just before. And I'm going to dye this top here as well, because I want to make this one out of this one. So I'm just gonna dye first, and then I'm going to frog it after, okay? So to do that, I just really follow the instructions of the dyeing kit, which was just this tube here. I bought this violet color, this purple color, but I don't think I'll be using it. I don't know if it's gonna really look good, so I'm just using this one instead. And so the first thing that I was saying to do is just make it all wet. And then I'm using this here just to place it inside, because it does really dye everything. And if you want to wear gloves as well, I think gloves is a good idea. Because remember, I don't want to dye both sides, or I just want to dye the one side, so I get the same effect of the mandala ombre yarn. So I'm going to only do this. Just drip it on top. It does spread to the sides a bit, so you can even make it wet after. Just spraying some water on top of it. It's very simple, really. Okay, so this is what it's gonna look like after. I'm just gonna let it rest for a day, and then I'm going to hang after. So this is good for me now. So now that I finished dyeing all my yarn, all I have to do is really open this and unravel all of it so I can use it. So I'm going to start with these balls that I already have, and I'm going to be using 4.5 millimeters hook, and I do recommend that you use the mandala ombre yarn if you have, if you can purchase this at home. So this top here is worked from the top all the way down, and as you can see, it's a little shorter here and a little longer in the middle. So to start, we're going to start with the foundation row here, and to make this row I'm going to be making 122 chains for this size medium. For this top-down tutorial you might want to make a little less, and if you are making less stitches for this tutorial you should either add 6 stitches or reduce 6 stitches, okay? But this size of neckline is good for a medium, a small, medium, and a large, really. With the crochet knot, and then chain 122 chains. And then after you finished all these chains, we are going to close it as a big loop. So make sure this string is untwisted, and then make a slip stitch in the first chain. Just like this. And then chain 2 to start the work, and make 1 double crochet in each chain, and then make 1 double crochet in each chain for 30. Count 30 double crochets here. Once you make 30, I'll come back with you, because that's where we're gonna start increasing stitches. When you have 30 stitches here, the very next one, what you're gonna do is you're gonna make 1 double crochet, 1 chain, and another double crochet in this same space. And this is gonna be the middle on the front, or the middle on the back. This is gonna be this stitch here, right in the middle of the front. And then after this stitch here, you're gonna count 60 extra stitches from the next one after. So 60 stitches from here, and you can place a marker there if you get confused, and if you are a beginner, so you know where you have to increase stitches. Where is it? Here. Just place a marker there, so you know when you reach this space here, it's time to increase again. And then from the next stitch after, from this one here, count 60 stitches, and then repeat this thing on the very next one after the 60 stitches. I'm going to do this now, and then I'll come back with you to show you the finish of this row, and then the second row. And then at the end of this row, that's how it has to look like. And then to close each row, what I'm going to do is put the hook through the second chain on the beginning and make a slip stitch. And then chain 2 to start the next row. And then this row is very easy. I'm going to be making 2 double crochets. I always count these 2 chains as a stitch. And then 1 chain in the middle. Skip 1 here and make 2 double crochets. Chain 1, skip 1, and then 2 double crochets. All the way until you reach the first marker. And then once you reach that middle stitch here, the way we are going to increase from now on is we are going to double crochet 2, chain 1 or 2, I'm going to chain 2 and then double crochet 2 in that same chain space, and then chain 1, and in the very next stitch, see I had the last stitch here, in the very next stitch I'm going to be making 1 and then 2, then chain 1, skip 1 here, and double crochet 2. And then repeat this process all the way until you reach the next marker. And then in this next marker here, we're going to be making the same stitch again. The same increasing that we did here on this one. So to finish this row here, I'm going to, because I want to be right in the middle of this stitch here, I'm going to half double crochet in the second chain. Just like this. And then I'm ready to chain 5. I'm going to be making chain arches in this next row. So 5 chains and a single crochet in the next chain. This is very easy, this row here. 5 chains and a single crochet. All the way until you reach that middle stitch again. And then made my last single crochet before where I have to increase again. And then I'm going to chain 2, increase the same way I did before. And you can put up this marker here. I just leave it there because for me it's easy to remember this way as well. And then you're gonna double crochet 2 in chain. Chain 2. And then double crochet 2 more, all in that same chain space. And then chain 1, 2, and single crochet in the next chain space, and then repeat again all the way to the other side. So this is our third row. And then I'll come back with you just to finish this row and start the next one. And as you can see, it's already taking shape. And now, just before we finish this row, what I'm going to do is chain 2 to finish. And then I'm going to double crochet in this first stitch. That way make a chain arch. And so I can start right in the middle of this stitch here and make my next chain arch row. So this next row is going to be exactly the same. I'm going to chain 5 and then single crochet in the chain arch. It's really easy row. So chain 5, single crochet in the next chain arch. And then single crochet in the next chain arch. I'm going to repeat this all the way until I reach this part here, and then I'm going to show you what I'm doing next here. And then just before we have to increase here where our marker is, I'm going to chain 5 again. And then I'm going to single crochet here in these 2 chains just before I increase the stitches. I'm going to chain 2 and then I'm going to repeat this work. So I'm going to be repeating this same work on the other side as well, and then I'll come back with you. This row, I'm going to finish this row exactly the same way that I did the row before, with 2 chains and a double crochet in the next chain arch. So to finish this row here, I'm going to chain 2 and then double crochet 1 in that double crochet from the row before. And then for this next row, I'm going to start with 2 chains again, and then 1 and 2 double crochets in this arch here. I'm going to chain 1 in between them, and then on the very next arch, I'm going to double crochet 3 again. Chain 1, and then double crochet 3 in the next chain arch. I'll I'll come back with you to increase here in the middle after making these stitches here. And then here, just before our next increasing in the middle, all I did was chain 1, and then here I'm going to repeat this same thing. This increasing will be the same throughout the pattern, okay? And then chain 2, double crochet 2, chain 1 this time before I make. Then I'm going to skip this next chain space here, and I'm going to work only on the chain arches this time, okay? So 3 double crochets here. So 3 double crochets and then chain 1, repeat this same increasing from all the other rows, and then make the 3 next double crochets in the very next chain arch, okay? I'm going to be repeating this around, and I'll come back with you on the next row. As you can see, that's the way it has to sit on the table, like flat like this. That means you're doing the right thing. So to finish this 5th row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5th row here, I didn't make this stitch yet because I'm going to half double crochet in this stitch here in order to start in the middle of the next row here. And then I'm going to chain 2, this could be 3 as well, and then I'm going to double crochet 2 stitches. This is a repetition of our last row. It's gonna be exactly the same, but you will be making the 3 double crochets always in chain. So double crochet 3, and then chain 1 and double crochet 3 more. And then when you reach the middle, it's quite easy this time. You're gonna double crochet 3 in this last chain here, and then you're gonna repeat this same increasing here. And then I'll come back with you with the next row after I made this one. You finish this row again with a half double crochet in this first stitch here, okay? And then to finish this row, again, just half double crochet in that first stitch. And then again, we are going to be making a full row of chain arches. So it's gonna be 5 chains. Chain 5, single crochet in the very next stitch. And repeat that all the way until you reach the next. I'll come back with you when you reach this next increasing of stitches here. Then after the last chain arch before our increasing stitches, I'm going to chain 2 this time. And then I'm going to repeat the same shell stitch. Chain 2 in the middle, double crochet 2 more, then chain 2, and go into the very next chain space. And then chain 5 and repeat this pattern throughout this row. We have now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows, and we are getting close to finish the shoulder part of this top. And then to finish this chain arch row, we're gonna do again the same thing we did before. Chain 2, and then double crochet in this first stitch here to start in the middle of the next row. Now our next row is gonna be a bubble stitch or a popcorn stitch. You can choose through each of these two. You can either make a puff stitch if you want. They all look very similar. I'm going to be using a bubble stitch. And here is an example of the popcorn stitch that I used on the other one. It's exactly the same, I just changed the stitch because I prefer to make this stitch with this yarn here instead. So it's 1, 2, 3 chains to begin this time, and then we are going to be making 1 double crochet, 2, 3, because it's 4 together, and I have the chains on the beginning here, and then close them all. Make 1, 2, 3, 4 chains in between them, so you have the same length of the stitches on the bottom. And then again, 1. See, I'm making them only halfway, and that's so I can make them all together on the last stitch. And now make them all together, and 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to repeat this throughout this row here, and then the last popcorn stitch I'm going to be making right here before I increase the stitches. I'm going to increase the same way again, okay? So this is gonna be where our last bubble stitch is gonna be, or popcorn stitch, and then I'm going to repeat this same way to increase here, and then I'll come back with you guys with the very next row after this. And then here, right after the last bubble stitch before the increasing, you make the bubble stitch here, right next to where you're gonna increase, and then you chain 2 only this time, and then you make the shell stitch in the middle. And then to finish this row, make the 4 chains, and then slip stitch in the first stitch. Chain 1, 2, 3, and then double crochet 3 in between the stitches. Double crochet 1 on top of that other stitch, and then double crochet 3 other stitches. This row is just gonna be this. Then in the middle here, where you have these 2 chains, make 2 double crochets, and then 1 chain, and then repeat the same shell stitch, and then finish when you finish this row, you're gonna make exactly the same row again, just 1 double crochet on top of each double crochet, and then here 1 double crochet on top of this chain here, just before the shell stitch, and then the same thing on the next one. And then I'll come back with you, because after this we're going to start working the body of this top here. Now here we got to the point where we have to start this part here, which is gonna be the body of this top here. If you are making a size small, so I wouldn't make this last row here. And if you're making a large, extra large, you have to keep trying on yourself to see if this covers your shoulder. When you see that's covering your shoulder, then it's time to start the next part that we're going to start now. So for a large, I would probably add 1 or 2 extra rows here. For an extra large, I would add a few more rows, like 3 or 4 rows. You can repeat this row, or you can either make any of these rows here if you prefer. This is very easy to customize. Now what I did here is I placed markers on this cluster here. On these clusters here, I count 2, 4, 6, 7. And then I placed a marker right in the middle, and it was in the same position of this other top, okay? And then same here, 2, 4, 6, 7, right in the middle, right after stitch 7, and then the same on the other side, so I know where I have to start making my sleeves. Okay, so I'm going to start on the one side, and then I'm going to connect both parts together this way. So in this first marker here, I'm going to actually remove this to attach the yarn, make a slip knot, and then pull it through. Now this might change depending of your body type. You have to actually make these chains and then try it on to see if your arms fit. It might happen that you have bigger arms and you need more space in between here, okay? So I'm making 15 chains here now. And this might change from one yarn to another as well. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. So I have 15 stitches now. And this is what what I'm going to have for the arm space. To try it on, what you can do is put the yarn, the hook through there, make a slip stitch, make a few extra stitches so it doesn't open. And now you can try it on and see if this is enough for your arm. I can see already that's enough for mine. I'm actually gonna leave this tail here on this side because I can use this tail to make the pom-pom row. As you can see here, there's a pom-pom row here at the end. And I use this same yarn here to make this pom-pom around here. So I'm not gonna cut the yarn on this side. And I'm just gonna attach a new yarn on the other side. And on this side you can attach a big ball of yarn because that's the side we are going to start making the body. So I'm going to attach here the same way with the same number of chains. And again, guys, this might be a little bit less for a small size, and this might be a little bit more for a bigger size. So you need to really try it on and see how you go. So I'm making the same number of chains and a slip stitch here on the other side to close the second sleeve. And then I'll come back with you guys just to show you how the body is gonna work. And then after I joined here for the second sleeve, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start working the body part of it, straight from there. So I made a slip stitch to join here on the other side. And then I'm going to leave this marker so I know where I started the row anyway. And then I'm going to chain 2 to start this row. And I'm going to be making 1 double crochet to each double crochet of the row underneath it. So make this all the way until you reach here. And then I'll come back with you just to make this first row here on this part. Now here in the middle, all I did was make a double crochet on top of the chain. And then chain 1 to make the shell stitch. And then double crochet 2, chain 1, and then repeat again. So we're gonna have a few rows of this only because I like to cover the breast so I don't have to wear, I don't have to worry about the bra that I'm wearing underneath it. And so from here, from where I started the underarm here, I made 2, 4, 6, 8 rows. So you're gonna make 8 rows or until you cover your breast and you're happy with the coverage. And then we're gonna start this open rows to finish this crochet top. So just repeat these 8 rows. You're gonna increase the same way for all these rows, and then I'll come back with you to finish this top after. So I'm gonna quickly show you some measurements. This is a size medium, so this has around 50 centimeters on the widest part of it, and the length from here to here is 40 centimeters, 16 inches. From here to here, 5.5 inches, 14 centimeters the depth of the neck cut. Now, I finished my 10 rows here that I was gonna make or 8 rows from here to here. That's to cover the breast area, okay? I'm going to start the last few rows now. That's how I was finishing every row, just with a single crochet like this and 2 chains. And then now this row, what I'm going to do is I'm going to double crochet 2, chain 1, skip 1, and double crochet another 2. Chain 1, skip 1, double crochet 2, all the way until I reach that middle stitches. And then in here, right in the middle, we're going to have 2 double crochets in chain, just to keep making the same work. And then chain 1 and repeat the shell stitch. So this is it for this row. I'm going to finish this row and I'll come back with you for the next row after this. So I have a total now of 19 rows, and I'm going to keep making rows until I can fully cover my belly. If you want this shorter, you can make this shorter as well. Maybe add some fringes here would be nice as well. And if you want to make a dress, you can too. So I'm going to finish this row here and then I'll come back with you guys. And then to close this row here, make a half double crochet in the second chain, and then chain 5. We're going to have a chain arch row, just like this. So chain 5, single crochet in the next chain. I'm going to repeat that all the way until I reach this middle point here, and then I'll come back with you just to show you how I did the increase here in this part. And then here in the middle, instead of making 5 chains, I'm going to chain 4 and make the shell stitch. And then repeat the same thing to the other side, and then skip this chain space and go straight into the next chain space. And so this row here, I'm going to show you how I finish this row and then into the next row. And then to finish this row, chain 1, 2, and then double crochet in the first stitch to make the last chain arch. And then I'm going to be making another row exactly like this one, so chain 5, single crochet in the next chain arch, and repeat all the way until you reach here, and then finish here with a single crochet in this chain arch here, chain 2, and make the shell stitch again. I'll come back with you after this row here and into the next 2 where we're gonna change again to the same work here that we have underneath. And then finish this row the same way you did on the very last one. Chain 2 and double crochet in the double crochet from the row before. And then chain 2 to start this next row, double crochet 1 in this chain arch, and then chain 1 and skip to the next chain arch, making 1 and 2 double crochets. Chain 1 and into the next one. And then repeat this all the way. And this is how it's going to look like. We will have a little 2 double crochets in this last chain space here. And then if you are making a small size, I would recommend making 1 row of each one of these. Just make this one here instead, and then going straight to the next one after, which is this one I'm making now. So you have a little shorter top in this situation. And then here, finish this row, and then here I made 2 rows with the same pattern here, just working on the chain stitch, on the chain spaces every time. And from now on, I'm going to be making that same chain arch row with 5 chains, single crochet in the next stitch, chain 5. The only difference with this row that I'm going to do is that I'm going to completely stop increasing stitches here at the bottom just to prepare it for my edging here. Okay, so I'm going to be making 3 rows of this. As you can see, it's 1 single crochet each chain space here in the middle. So I'm going to do that for 3 times, and if you are a small or an extra small, just refer to the pattern, because you have to make less rows to make it a little shorter, okay? So I'm going to be making these 3 chain arch rows, and then I'll come back with you just to show you how to make this beautiful edging here. And then after you made these 3 rows of chain arches, I actually made only 2, only because I don't think I have enough dyed yarn. And then I'm going to be making that beautiful edging there. It's an edge that I like a lot, and I used a lot in bikinis and other stuff. So it's 2 double crochets that you're gonna be making together. 2 together, and then chain 1 and 2. Then go into that prior stitch and make a single crochet, and then to make this picot stitch. In between them, I'm going to be making 1 chain and then another 2 double crochets together. Chain 2, picot stitch, chain 1, and repeat again. Chain 1, single crochet in the next chain arch, and repeat the same thing again. So I'm going to be repeating this edge. I like to use this type of edge because it gives a little weight to the work as well. You need some weight after all these chain arches for the rows to get a little more elongated as well. And then after this, I'm gonna be showing you how to make the pompons here on the sleeves that I made. You can actually make pompons here if you want in this row as well. Just make 1 pompon every 2 chain arches. So I'm going to finish this row and then show you this last edge here for the sleeves. So here's our top, almost ready. And now what I'm going to do is show you this part here, these little pompons. I make them in a different way because when you have thicker yarn, it's a little difficult to make the way you normally would do. So I'm gonna show you now. Start with a crochet knot, pull through, and then make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stitches. So chain 7, then yarn over, put the hook through, skip 2 stitches here, put the hook through the 3rd one and just pull. Again, and one more time. So 3 times and then pull through, make a chain, and then put the hook through the very next chain after and make a slip stitch. And this is how it's going to look like. And then chain 1, 2, 3. And then underneath, I'm going to skip 1, 2 stitches. And in the 3rd one, I'm going to single crochet. And then one more time, chain 7. Yarn over, skip 2, put the hook through, 1, 2, 3, make them all together, chain 1, skip 1 here, and slip stitch in the very next chain this way. Chain 1, 2, 3, and then skip 1, 2 underneath it. And then repeat this process until you reach the other side here, and then all you have to do is cut the yarn and finish it off. I'm just gonna come back with you just to show you how it looks like. You can purchase this pattern if you want in other sizes. The link is down in the description below. If you want, I'm going to make from extra small all the way to large, okay? Or extra large, can be made in extra large as well, or you can be making this as a beautiful dress just by repeating these rows more down on the bottom as well. That can be done too if you have the patience. A dress would take much longer than this. It took me around 8 hours to make, and it's a beautiful project, super simple and easy for summer. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I'm going to leave a link here for another top that I have for summer that people really like to make. You can make this for summer as well. Thank you all for watching, and I see you in the very next tutorial. Bye!